The radio crackles once, then goes silent. And in that silence, you hear your own heartbeat louder than anything else in the room. It's 4:52 a.m., 6 hours before deployment, and you're sitting in a barracks bathroom with the door locked, staring at a phone you're not supposed to have. The message is 4 words: confirm extraction point Bravo. You type back 2 letters, the only response your handler ever wants. Then you wipe the phone and slide it back into the hollowed grip of your kit bag, exactly where it's lived for 14 months.
You were not always this. 3 years ago, you were just a soldier among 200 applicants who walked into selection week with nothing but ambition and a body that hadn't learned its limits yet. You finished in the top 6%. You remember the pride, real pride, the kind that doesn't lie to you. That pride is still in you somewhere, buried under everything that came after.
The recruitment happened slowly. A senior operator you trusted started asking questions that felt like mentorship before they felt like anything else. About how the unit really operated. About men your team had lost for reasons that never quite added up. He never asked you to betray anyone. He asked you to start paying attention. By the time you understood what you'd agreed to, you were already too deep to walk away clean.
Now you've earned your way through every rank that matters here, through blood and proof, the only currency anyone respects. Your commanding officer trusts you with planning most operators twice your age never see. And every single day, you carry a second job none of them know exists.
The first real test comes 8 months in, an operation in a country you're not allowed to name even in your own head. Your team is tasked with eliminating a target your handler specifically warned you not to touch. You stand in a stairwell, rifle raised, his silhouette framed in a doorway, and for 3 full seconds, you hesitate. Your team lead's voice cracks through your earpiece. Take the shot! You take it. That night, you understand for the first time that loyalty to 2 masters is not loyalty at all. It's a slow erosion.
Your handler is furious when the report reaches them. Furious in the careful way of someone who spent a career controlling their reactions. They don't threaten you outright. They never do. They simply remind you what you've already told them in moments of weakness. A sibling's medical debt. The kind that nearly buried your family before this arrangement made it disappear. You didn't sell your loyalty for ideology. You sold it for survival. The missions accelerate. You're promoted again into a position with access that sharpens your handler's interest into something closer to obsession. Troop movement schedules, liaison officer identities, safe house locations. Each request feels like a larger piece of yourself handed across a widening gap. And each time, you tell yourself this is the last one. You notice the toll in small ways. You stop sleeping through the night. You avoid eye contact with your team lead, a man who saved your life twice and who would, you know with total certainty, put a bullet in you himself if he learned the truth. You watch your own hands shake during briefings and blame fatigue, blame anything except the truth, that you are slowly becoming a stranger inside your own body.
The closest call comes during a routine counterintelligence sweep, one you've passed 8 times before. This time, the technician pauses on your equipment 4 seconds too long. You stand perfectly still, calculating exits, calculating how many of your teammates you'd have to hurt to survive exposure in this room. He shrugs and moves to the next device. You understand, you just watched 4 seconds decide whether you live or die.
That night, you almost end it. You sit with the burner phone for nearly an hour, finger hovering over the message that would sever the connection forever. You don't send it. The debts are still there. The threats, never spoken aloud but always present in your handler's careful word choices, are still there. The mission that changes everything arrives during a joint strike with a partner nation's special forces. 3 days before deployment, your handler delivers different instructions.
Not information this time, an action. They want the operation delayed by exactly 11 minutes, enough time for someone inside the compound to escape before your team arrives.
You refuse for the first time in 14 months. The reply comes within the hour, calm and devastating. They remind you that refusal has consequences too, that exposure works both ways.
The operation goes sideways anyway. 2 operatives from the partner unit take fire they shouldn't have. Your team lead pulls you aside afterward and asks, with the quiet intensity of a man who trusts you completely, whether you noticed anything unusual about the equipment failure. You look him in the eyes and lie. Cleanly. Completely. The kind of lie that comes easier now than it ever should. That night, you understand exactly what you've become. Not a soldier with a secret. Something else. Something that wears the uniform, earns the rank, bleeds the same blood as the men around you, while carrying a second self none of them will ever be allowed to see. Your handler contacts you 4 days later, and underneath the careful professionalism is something almost like reassurance. Your judgment under pressure, they say, is exactly why they recruited someone like you. Listening to them, you realize this is the actual machinery of how people become what you've become. Not one dramatic betrayal, but 1,000 small accommodations, each justified by the one before it, until you look up one day and discover you've built an entire second life out of compromises you never consciously chose to make. Weeks later, Command announces tighter device protocols and expanded background re-verification for every operator above a certain clearance level. Your name is on that list. Sitting in the briefing room, you feel something settle in your chest that isn't quite fear. It's closer to relief. The strange relief of a countdown finally starting after years of not knowing when it would. You don't know how this ends. You used to believe there would be a clean exit somewhere ahead. You don't believe that anymore. What you believe now, lying awake at 4 a.m. with a phone hidden in the lining of your kit bag, is that there are 2 versions of you, and they cannot both survive intact. Outside, the camp is beginning to wake. Boots on gravel, the low murmur of operators preparing for another day inside a brotherhood you betray every single morning before breakfast. You stand up, look at yourself in the mirror for one long moment, and walk out the door. Because in a few hours, you deploy again. And whatever you are has one more day left to find out which side of you survives it.